this summer when Rich and I went on our trip, we stopped at one of my really good friend's house, Valerie's, and she had this growing area that inspired me to change how I'm doing things here. It was so well kept and manageable that I realized what I've created here is just a lot of work for, you know, when you don't have people that are working for you or with you. So it is time for me to rethink what we're doing. So I have this area, which is an herb garden and some vegetables, depending on the time of the year. So over there is the peas, the beans, the tomatoes usually trellis up that, but the rest of it is herbs and some flowers to attract some of the pollinators. And then as I go down around, it's the elderberry, the mint, which is self-sufficient. Check out the sidewalk. We just had this done not too long ago. The mint, which, you know, I'm not watering any of this right now because, and it's been unusually dry. Our 5th generation water guy said since 1982 it hasn't been like this. So we are, you know, very limited on how much watering we're doing. This bone set is really pretty. A lot of this is ready to go, and that way I can make room for some other things, but there's still some harvesting I'm going to be doing in here. And then of course we have the fruit orchard, which I've already harvested. Well, there's still some pears and the figs are coming in. But you can see, look at the evergreens are struggling because we don't have watering on them, and usually we don't need watering on them. So right now I'm actually watering those because a few of them have died, and I thought, okay, it's time to intervene. Then I have this section over here, separate water system. This is where the garlic and the potatoes were this year. And I just have flowers going right now because I've harvested all. There is a tomato plant and a basil down there and another tomato. Oh, there's actually tomatoes on that. See, I'm not paying attention to this area right now, which is amazing to me that these flowers are so happy because I'm not running the water over here right now either. And I'm just letting that go for now. This is, like I said, potatoes and garlic is what I grew in here, but I did other things last year, but that's pretty much what I'll probably keep going. And then that section, goji berry, elderberry, and then sweet potatoes usually are veining up and around, but I decided this year I wasn't going to water. We have the greenhouse section over there. And then back here, there's a whole other section. So it's just a lot of going around and trying to get everything watered and taken care of. You know, we do have watering running through this. I've just let this completely go. And I'm going to do something different with that next year. But there's a medicinal mugwort, so I want to be careful about what I do. And then there's sweet potato and other vegetables. And I've just let those beds over there, except for some turmeric and some other things. And then I have this whole section here that's a separate water system. So you can just see. And then back there we had a whole row of tubs that were peppers. So this is what I'm going to do now. All of those beds that we just walked by are going to be flowers, so cut flowers. You know, I might do the potatoes and garlic still because that doesn't really take much. But down here with the greenhouse, this is where I want all the food growing to happen. And I have all these blueberries. Let me set this up here. I have all these blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, and such in here that I've just been hand watering in the pots for a while. So I've decided this section right here, this is where I was keeping my mulch, net piles of soil down here. And I moved all of those barrels that were in a row up there that had a separate watering system, and I put them down here by the greenhouse. I don't want to keep growing in these plastic tubs though, because, you know, they get baked in the heat and that plastic is going to break down, and it's going to be in the roots and in the food as microplastics, and I don't want that. What are you doing, Yoki? What are you doing? You're such a good boy. And so I'm finishing out what I have in them this year, and I might do some cut flowers or something, maybe things that I want to just propagate temporarily and transfer over, but I'm going to keep all the food in one section. So this is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be fenced off or not, but I have my first galvanized container that I'm putting together right now. The tedious part is pulling off the plastic covering. Oh my gosh. I just did one. I'm like, okay, this is gonna take a while. But I got one that is, you can either make like a waterfall style, which I'm not gonna do. You can see that. So you can do like a waterfall style, or you can make a long and a round, or a square and a round. So I'll probably do one long, one round. And so I have all these blueberries in here and some strawberries and things. And then I'm just gonna keep building from there. Jackson's making me some wood square planters with the wood that we have for now. I'm just trying to use the materials that we have and not spend a bunch of money on developing this area. I have water down here, I have a system, I have the timer, it'll just be easier to manage the food stuff. And the things that aren't as likely to get attacked by pests can be all the other areas, because that's the big thing is in the morning I'm walking around checking all the leaves. I like sometimes that things are separated, because if there's an infestation of something, I'll still have tomatoes or whatever vegetables going on somewhere else. But if I leave and I want someone else to help out to take care of it, it's just too much. So it's time to simplify. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm excited. This is gonna be a nice area. I'll have it to where, you know, I can walk around and through and get to it easily. And if I want to overhead water, I could just set that up and have that going and not have to worry about doing hand watering until we can actually set up some sort of drip system. I'm excited to simplify. And you know, also every time I want to do those beds, because you know, I want them to be really nutritious, I'll still want that for flowers, but to trek the soil and just all of the materials to each section, because I don't have like a station at all those areas, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 growing areas that I'm watching after. So sometimes I do things, I really like go for it, and then I have my worms, and so I'm excited. This is going to be way simpler, and we'll see. As far as the watering, that'll be the trick. But right now it's just setting it up, designing it in a way that is going to be functional, work really well, and I can transition out of the plastic tubs into galvanized. I'll just, you know, kind of as I get the money, I'll just keep buying and growing, and I'll transfer out of the wood planters that we're making into the galvanized, just piece by piece, just making improvements as I go. So now I'm going to put those together. Then I'm going to hit the greenhouse, go put some beds to sleep in there, and start fresh.